Do your emotions sometimes get away on you? Do they leak out or burst out when you don't want them to? Okay, yep, so you're human. I get it. It happens to all of us. There are things though that you can do to gain control, to be on top of your emotions instead of underneath them, to be choosing your responses and behaviour instead of being at the mercy of your reactions. Today, I want to share with you a highly effective tool to manage your emotions. Now, I've shared this tool with thousands of people. If you put the effort into getting good at this and then use it when needed, it'll help you dial down the intensity of what you feel to a more manageable level. This then will allow you to respond instead of react, increasing the chance you'll make constructive and effective choices. Thanks for joining me today. My name's Simon Dadley-Moore. I'm a communication and a conflict coach and a family mediator. And this is the first of several videos that I'll be uploading in the weeks and months to come on dealing with difficult emotions. Before we start, I've created a free mini course to help you learn about cognitive distortions. Now, we all have these. Distortions are unconscious errors in thinking, and these distortions trick us into believing things about ourselves, about our partners, about the world around us that just aren't true. I call these the mind monkeys, the filters, the lenses through which we view the world. And we use them to interpret and make meaning and sense of what we experience. Now, this course will help you uncover the distortions that affect you the most and help you minimize their impact on your life. Watch this and learn something new about yourself. Okay, let's start. This is actually a tool that we all use every day, every single one of us, you included. We just don't know we're doing it. It happens unconsciously below the surface of our awareness, and because we don't know it's there, we're reliant on it happening automatically. Now, this works okay when the intensity of our emotions are small, but when your emotions are difficult to deal with, it's essential that you know this tool exists, that you know it's there, so you can actively choose to use it. Now, to explain it, I have to start with the understanding that no one can make us feel anything. Has anyone presented this to you before? No one can make you feel anything. No one can make you feel angry. No one can make you feel sad or frustrated or annoyed. No one can make you feel happy. You do it to yourself. Now, please travel with me here as I explain this further. If your partner came home from work and said that they were now unable to attend the big family gathering that was planned for Friday night because their boss had arranged like a last minute night out and they had to go to that instead, you might instantly feel grumpy, frustrated, annoyed. Let's use annoyed. You might instantly feel annoyed. Now, obviously these two events are linked. Before your partner said they weren't coming out to the family gathering, you weren't annoyed. Now you are. It's very easy, therefore, to think, my partner made me annoyed. It's cause and effect. They said this, and now I feel this. Therefore, they made me feel that. They made me feel annoyed. But it's not true. There's actually a lot that happens in the milliseconds in between your partner speaking and you're feeling annoyed. And it's what happens in here, it's what happens in these milliseconds that makes the annoyed, not your partner. And what happens in here is that you think about and interpret what your partner's just said. And it's what we think about and interpret that creates the annoyed. For instance, maybe you're thinking, but this is our family. We've been planning this event for months. Auntie Debbie's flying in. The last time this happened was 5 years ago, and you weren't even there then. You're never there for our family gatherings. You always have an excuse. Your work's always been more important. Now, at a simple level, it's the annoyed thoughts that create the feeling of annoyed. If you were thinking angry thoughts, then you'll feel angry. Now, this is a cognitive behavioural tool. What you think creates what you feel. And then what you think and feel goes on to create how you behave, which obviously then reinforces how you think. But this is not a one-way system. All three of these, thinking, feeling, behaving, all influence each other. Therefore, change any one of them and you can change all three of them. The tool I'm introducing here is focused on changing the way you think. Okay, the next piece of this puzzle is that your thoughts are a little bit like a seesaw or a weighing scale. And as humans, we're wired up with a negative bias to think the difficult thoughts first. If someone cuts you off in a car, if there's no milk left for your coffee in the morning, then you'll likely have the difficult thoughts first. With your partner and in your relationship, you'll develop thought patterns. And when your partner looks at you in a certain way or says certain things, you'll likely be flooded by thoughts that aren't of your choice. They're outside your control. And these thought patterns have then found their way really into your neurological pathways. They're just there. Now, your annoyed thoughts about your partner missing the family gathering might be understandable. I mean, fair enough, you're annoyed. I'm not going to tell you that your thinking is wrong. It's important to understand here that the presence of these thoughts is not the issue to focus on. Again, they arrive without choice. That they're not really the problem. The problem is when these thoughts become the majority of what you're thinking, when you get too far out of balance. Because once you get to around 75% of any type of thought, it'll leak out or burst out of you. It's the same for all of us. It doesn't matter who the person is. We could be talking about the Dalai Lama here. Once you get to about 75% of any particular thought, these thoughts will be on display in some way in your behavior. Now, I'm sure you've experienced this. I'm sure you've walked into a room before and you could sense what people were feeling. Angry, happy, sad. It could be a stranger that they might not even look at you. But if that person's thinking 80% angry thoughts and they're feeling 80% angry, it's going to show in some way. 75% or more intensity of any emotion is very hard to keep inside. If you're thinking 95% happy thoughts as you walk down the road, there's going to be a big smile on your face. Now, the trick with managing your emotions, especially the difficult ones, is to be able to dial down the intensity of the feelings, to be able to create more balance. Because if you can be 65% annoyed or 60 or 50%, then it's going to be a lot easier to keep this inside and choose how to behave instead of be at the mercy of that feeling. Again, this tool's not about making the sky blue and the roses red. You might have every right to be sad or angry or frustrated and annoyed. 60% annoyed is still mainly annoyed, but now you're able to have better control over your behavior. So how do you dial down the intensity of what you're feeling? Well, it's not by trying to get rid of the annoyed thoughts. If you try this, you'll add more weight on this side of the seesaw. The trick is to add weight to the other side, to add what are called coping thoughts. Because the reality is you could have 1,000 kilos of annoyed thoughts, but as long as you had a ton of coping thoughts, you'd only be 50% annoyed. Now, coping thoughts have two main categories, what I call at leasts and maybes. And these are sentence starters. And as I said before, we use this every day. If you've ever thought to yourself, thank God it's Friday, this is another way of thinking, at least it's almost the weekend. At least I don't have to get up early tomorrow. At least I can spend time with the kids, or at least I can do what I want to do. At least my partner and I are going out tomorrow night. Thinking these thoughts is going to help you dial down the intensity of the difficult feeling you have about work. It's going to help you create balance and get through your Friday. We all use thoughts starting with at leasts to help us cope with the wild ride that is life. At least it's almost my birthday. At least my sister's coming for a visit soon. At least it's almost payday. At least we got enough food till then. At least the days are getting longer. At least spring will be here soon. Now, most parents with school-aged children fall into one of two categories. For me, it's either at least it's almost the school holidays, or at least it's almost the end of the school holidays. If there's no milk left for your coffee, after an initial low, hopefully you can find some at leasts and maybes. At least it's the milk that's missing and not the coffee. Maybe the neighbour's got some milk. The people who are really good at bouncing through life, especially with the small stuff, have a really strong auto setting with this tool. It's permanently dialed up to high. Okay, Maybes. Maybe today will go well. Maybe it'll be the best day of the week so far. Maybe I'll get that work done. Maybe I'll sleep tonight. Maybe things are on the up in my relationship. Maybe things will get better. Maybe the counselling session we had will be helpful. Maybe if I just keep pointing the finger this way, I'll create positive change. Now, maybes don't weigh as much as at leasts, because maybe not is also possible. Maybe things won't get better. Maybe today won't go as well as I want it to. Maybe it won't be the best day of the week so far. But we just don't have a crystal ball, or at least I don't. We just don't know with 100% certainty what's going to happen next. So it's worth focusing on the maybes. Now, coping thoughts, they're not limited to these categories. However, these categories are going to help you look for coping thoughts when you need them. So next time your partner says something or does something and your automatic pattern thinking, your cognitive distortions send you in a difficult direction, ask yourself, what else can I think? At leasts and maybes. And create a list. One thought, one at least, or one maybe often doesn't weigh much on its own. The skill here is to gather a quantity of thoughts that when added together weigh at least 30%, hopefully much more. Okay, your partner comes home and says, "Hey, look, I can't come to that family gathering." Well, after your initial automatic thoughts, what else could I think? At least and maybes. At least I'm still going to the gathering. At least the kids and I will still go. At least we won't miss out. At least I get on better with his mum when he's not there. Maybe it'll still be great. Maybe he'll actually reflect on this later and he'll change his mind. At least he's got a job and a boss, I suppose. The purpose of this video is to raise your awareness of this tool so that you know it exists, and then to help you strengthen your ability to use it manually rather than rely on it working for you automatically. So the way to increase your capacity at this is to keep it front of mind really over the rest of today, in the weeks to come. Start observing yourself and start practicing this tool. As with any tool, when you first pick it up it might feel clumsy and awkward, but with practice and over time you're more likely to find ease. Start to observe yourself, as I said, catch yourself. Catch yourself when you're using this tool on auto if you can. And when you find one of these occasions, then actively choose to add 3, 4, 5 more thoughts than you would have. Ask yourself, and what else can I think? And what else can I think? And this will strengthen your capacity to find the thoughts when you need them. If you're aware also that you're about to enter into a potentially difficult situation or interaction, then it can be really useful to find as many at leasts and maybes beforehand, so they're easier to reach in the moment. You could even write them down and keep them in your pocket. Then you've got them to look at when you need. The reality is, when your thoughts get too far out of balance, you'll be out of balance too. If you want an external stability, then you have to create an internal stability. Now, if you're having difficulty with any emotion, ask yourself, what am I thinking right now that's creating the way that I feel? And then, what else could I think? And what else could I think? Stack the other side. Shift the balance in your mind to shift the balance in your body and in your experience. This is a cognitive, thought-based approach to managing your emotions. In next week's video, I'm going to introduce a feelings-based approach to letting go and creating balance. And in doing so, I'll get to share with you one of my favorite books. Okay, if you've got this far, thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video out to anyone you know who might benefit. Have a magic week. Yep, be kind to yourself out there.